it's time for our featured story of the night. All right, everybody. We always try to, keep it even keel on the politics stuff here. But this is entertainment. And if you ask me, both these people are entertainers too. And it shook the world today. A lot of people were going nuts. And I was shocked by this news too.
The world?
Every news feed, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. I mean, I couldn't get it. I couldn't go anywhere without seeing it. It shook the world. So Tucker Carlson was fired and Don Lemon was fired. Now, it doesn't matter what side you are on the political line. It's like you probably loved one of these people.
That's
if you're on the right,
crazy.
you probably love this person. If you're left, probably love this person. It's nuts because there were such big influential figures on their network and involving entertainment, news, the world we live in. They're big figures. I mean, 3 million people tune into Tucker Carlson's show every night. 3 million people. Don Lemon was going through some sexual assaults or not assault, but sexual investigations. And then he had the whole thing where he went off about Nikki Haley about like her age, and so that was a whole thing. They pulled him off the news and they brought him back, but then they said that he was having problems behind the scenes. And now Tucker Carlson out of nowhere got fired too. And that was one of those things that they both said that it took him off, like, they weren't expecting it. I mean, Tucker Carlson said on Friday, I'll see you on Monday. And then he was gone over the weekend. Don Lemon came out and he was like, he's pretty much said, I was shocked. I'm stunned, he said. After 17 years on CNN, I always thought someone in management would have just the decency to call me. And then CNN's like, well, we did try to have a meeting, but then you denied it, so we just put it out on Twitter. And they're both Twitter notifications on both people's fronts. So it's just like, all of a sudden, we're going to fire both these people who are big figureheads in our network out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And I think the reason why Tucker Carlson was fired, because there's something coming out right now about Abby Grossberg, who was fired from Fox. And she has a lawsuit going out there about alleged discrimination and on gender, religion, and disability. And another producer on Tucker Carlson's show was fired. So to me, it seems like maybe that's the correlation for her. And with Don Lemon, it seems like, well, there's been all these allegations against him too at work. And I think it comes down to that too. Like the Nikki Haley thing was like nothing, you know what I mean? It was like just a small thing out of like a grand scale people are saying. But it's weird. It's weird that networks would have big people like this, big figures like this, just fire them over the weekend and tweet about it, if you ask me. And it's going to shake the political landscape. It's crazy. I'm shocked. Right? That's like the biggest thing for me. I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's even real. Like it's not. I don't care what line where you fall in the line. To me, it's like I'm surprised these networks would fire people. It would be like firing a lead actor on a TV show or a movie. It would be like that. Groundbreaking, you know what I mean? Like, you bet that's been going on for like 10 seasons. All of a sudden, we're going to fire somebody out of nowhere. So that's what it's like for me. It's big news on the networks, and it's big news on the news. Like I said, it shook Twitter today. It shook everywhere. I know people are probably very divided on these characters. Some people love them, some people hate them. But I just want to talk about it briefly because it is huge. It's huge news. And we don't usually delve into this realm, but it is, in a way, entertainment too, because a lot of these people speak about this stuff. They definitely talk about entertainment. They talk about the news. They talk about everything. We do the news too. So it affects everything. Sabrina, I know you're going to be very fired up about this. What do you think about this? Do you think that this is... I think so. I have an idea you might be.
I'm really fired up.
I was told that you will be very fired up about this.
Well,
so I'm here. I'm here to hear.
I'm not very fired up.
What do you think about Fox
fired up.
and CNN firing these figureheads?
Can I just say real quick with Carlson? It was the Dominion voting stuff that because of how he was dealing with it, he was like one of the primary people. But then on top of that, his tweets about talking shit about Trump and how he didn't want him there, those two things combined together is basically why Rupert Murdoch was like, get rid of him. Get him out of there.
Yeah, Rupert's like, you don't talk shit about Trump. That's a thing.
He also pulls the most ad revenue out of any show on Fox, which is the reason
100%.
why he was very at the fore. It was almost like he ran the network because his show was the most successful. Like $73 million of ad revenue per episode of his piece of shit show. You know what I mean? Like it was leaps and bounds over any other show on Fox.
Yeah.
So they kind of gave him carte blanche, and he got more and more ballsy. And said more and more of whatever the fuck he wanted. And, there was another lawsuit against him years ago. And his lawyers, Fox's lawyers, and Tucker's lawyers literally gave the response that it's obvious that he is not telling the truth. It's an entertainment-based show. And any sane person would not believe what he is saying. which is really fucked up because it is on a news channel and everyone obviously thinks that he's telling the truth. So he's been in trouble before with lawsuits and stuff. So I'm really surprised that they did pull the trigger and let him go, honestly, because he has been at the forefront of many legal battles at this point, you know? And this Dominion voting thing is one thing, but there is another voting machine that is also suing Fox. And they said that they are not settling out of court. They're going to take it to the mat. So, you know, maybe that is part of the issue as well. I just don't like. The problem is, like, if you were doing a opinion-based show like we do, you know, like this is what we heard and this is our opinion about it, that will be one thing. But for you to be sitting on television and telling people bold-faced lies or things that you know aren't true in order to sway a public opinion is, I think it's pretty shitty. It's really on the level of propaganda. And I say that in conjunction with Tucker Carlson and with John Lemon. You know, because the right tries to influence the right and the left tries to influence the left. And the truth is always somewhere in between. So I'm not really sure how this happened with Tucker because he seemed to be like the god of Fox. But John Lemon apparently has been having problems for years. And I think that it's super weird that they, you know, brought him back after giving him like a light leave of absence. Oh my God, that picture is hilarious.
You also have like a thing that says sign into Spectrum TV on your picture right now, Sabrina. I don't know what that is.
I do.
Yeah,
you do.
Right. Sign in.
I don't know what kind of ads you got. I don't know what kind of ads you got going on right now for Spectrum, but Spectrum is not sponsoring Cruise Control. Everybody out there, so
it said Squares, by the way, not Spectrum.
Okay,
So
it's very tiny.
Good job.
Yeah, but great picture of Don Lemon, huh?
Yeah, Don Lemon looks like he belongs in Boogie Nights in that shot. And right? Going.
Like a fly.
Where's Roller Girl? So yeah, Don Lemon apparently has also had a shit ton of problems as well. Like I read a very long Variety article about him today, and in 2008 he was with a co-anchor like doing a show, and she got a job overseas that he wanted, and he started sending her a bunch of fucked up text messages and shit. They traced it back to him. He has somehow like kept his job through a lot of what's the right word?
Terrible behavior.
Controversy?
Yeah, controversy. Thank you. Also terrible behavior.
Terrible behavior.
But like he somehow was able to keep coming through it all. And like that also probably made him brazen in the same way that Tucker got brazen because his show made the most money and he was like, I do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. So I think Don Lemon also came into a sense of that confidence, you know, that nothing's going to shake him and he's gotten through all this shit and he can do whatever the fuck he wants, which is unfortunate and inappropriate. And you're there for a purpose, and the purpose is not to serve yourself. The purpose is to serve the people. Like as a news anchor, you're supposed to be bringing the truth to the people. And I feel like, you know, Don Lemon probably was more true to bringing the truth to people than Tucker Carlson was. In my personal opinion, but I feel like they both definitely, you know, were pushing their own agenda, you know, and that's not really something that's appropriate for you to do on a news station. Again, if you were on The View or The Talk or something like that, you know what I mean? Like you can give your opinion on whatever you want, but when you're selling it to people as news, it's a different fucking thing. I was very surprised to read all those things about Don Lemon because when he had a show, Don Lemon Tonight, I used to enjoy it. They moved him to like some morning slot and it just never seemed to go well for him. And then he got like, he'd had that Nikki Haley thing and they let him go and they brought him back for like 5 fucking minutes and then they fired him. And the thing that's really shitty is CNN didn't even tell him he was fired. His manager called him and told him he was fired. Yeah. He didn't even fucking know.
Hey, they claim that they tried to contact him to have a sit down, but he denied it. That's what they said. Yeah.
I was going to say, they claimed that.
Yeah, that's what they said.
They tried to sit with him, and then he refused to not come to it. And then he's like, I was never told that.
I'm stunned. You know what I mean?
I'm shocked. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because he had this whole tweet where he said he was stunned, and like after 17 years, he came and called me. And then they put out their thing saying, hey, we tried to contact him. We wish him the best in his future. They use future endeavors, which is what Vince McMahon likes to use, just saying, we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Vince McMahoned him. And then
Vince McMahon out on him.
And then, you know, they let him, then that was it, you know, but they called him out on his shit, you know? So it's just like, you can't, again, like Sabrina's saying, it's like you're doing the news, CNN, ever since Warner Brothers changed to Zaslav, we talked about that a lot, how Zaslav came in with Discovery. They own Warner Brothers. Well, they also own CNN because of that. And Zaslav said he wanted to make it much more neutral and not so far one way or the other, you know?
Right.
So for me, I saw the writing on the wall for Lemon because I think that he has been a little bit more extreme for that network. And then
For
with
sure.
like, and the allegations coming out, then moving into the morning show, and then like taking him off, I'm like, it's only a matter of time until they're firing this guy. I was more surprised at Tucker Carlson because I thought that he was untouchable regardless of the shit he'd say.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he'd
He
almost
thought he was untouchable.
yeah, I feel like he'd almost push the barriers and be like, hey, they'll never fucking fire me. So I'm gonna say what the hell I want. You know what I mean? And then he got fired. I think he's probably like, what the shit today, you know? It just it just blows my mind. It just really does. A little, yeah, I know, right? Lexi, how do you feel about it? You're surprised too about all this, right?
Oh, I woke up today and I was like, Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox. And I immediately texted like 6 people. I was like, Tucker Carlson got fucking fired. I'm like, that's insane. That's like the most insane thing I've ever heard. Because
Heir to
like,
the Swanson fortune, by the way. Just want to throw that out there one more
heir to
time.
the Swanson fortune. And let me tell you, his daddy ain't no fucking piece of work either. What a piece of shit his fucking dad was too. That guy spent his entire career as a reporter destroying a trans woman's life, and then his son went on to destroy thousands of trans people's lives as well as thousands of other minorities' lives and all that kind of shit. Like his son like definitely like took his daddy's mantle and like ran with it. Like that whole family is just fucking garbage. Like they're just a generation of garbage people, and I have nothing nice to say about any of them. But Don Lemon took me by surprise because I saw this stuff with like Carlson, and I was like, oh my god. And then like 2 hours later, I see the shit with Lemon, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Don Lemon's
That
fired
picture
too.
is hilarious.
And I was like, Don Lemon is like kind of an institution. And I was like, I was really shocked to see that one too. And then I was like, what did Don Lemon even do? Because I don't know enough a lot about him to like know what he possibly could have done. So it was like total shock because it's like, you know, you think of CNN, they say they're in the middle, but like they have more of a left leaning in their presentation and
Definitely.
stuff. So it's like you think of like a hard left network getting rid of their guy, and then the hard right network getting rid of their guy, and I was like, whoa. But the thing with Carlson leaving, so first of all, Fox has been working on their streaming service, their right-wing streaming service that they've been working on. Carlson's got like, what, 2-3 shows on that thing? So if he's been eliminated from Fox with his show, what even happened to those shows? Because those were also the major selling points of Fox's streaming service. So I'm wondering, like, what does this do to Fox's streaming service? What does this do to that? The other side of it too, that needs to be thought about and needs to be realized is that they think, like, they look at, like, Fox is taking a stance right now because at the end of the day, Fox has always kind of been, even though they started this like as like a cable network, Fox itself has always been like what's the word? Not cable, you know, a network television
network. Yeah, network.
So they've always kind of they've had to kind of create a bit of like a, well, we're not really. So they've had to lie about that over and over and over. Like they've had to say, no, we're not this. That's a lie they've had to perpetuate continuously. We all know that it's a lie, but they've been able to kind of perpetuate it. When they're at the point that they're at right now, they can't keep maintaining their lie. Like their lie is so blatantly obvious, like that they can't keep it. So this is kind of one of those, like, you've been caught way too hard in your lie, and you got to kind of like do some cleanup and stuff. They've built
only because it costs
though.
The company so much money. Only because it costs
exactly. But at the same time, they have built this. Fox News is directly responsible for building the template for all right-wing crazy like networks. Like you wouldn't, without Fox News, you don't have a Newsmax, you don't have Ben Shapiro's network,
but there are
have all these other things.
There are actually very reputable shows on Fox News. Like actually people who like Chris Matthews used to have a very, you know, fair show that was, you know, in the middle and not completely right or completely left, just truthful.
I was laughing.
You know what I mean?
It's funny when you think about like Bill O'Reilly and how insane he was, but when you look at
O'Reilly
Tucker
factor?
Carlson and you're like, Bill O'Reilly
Wait, not even
was a
super sane. Totally
sane,
normal dude.
normal human being in
Yeah,
comparison to
100%.
Tucker Carlson, and Bill O'Reilly was nuts. It's like, and it's like, but in comparison, it's like this guy's fucking like insane compared to Bill O'Reilly, and it's like, so when they got rid of O'Reilly and they went the Carlson direction, it opened this door and it created this new kind of like fan base, and the fan base that it created was rabid and they're insane, and Carlson's fan base isn't a Fox News fan base. They're a Tucker Carlson fan base. And despite what they might think,
I mean,
like,
he's the most popular, but people are
Very
still
popular.
watching
3
Fox
million a
News
day.
all fucking day.
he's gonna,
You know
he's
what I mean?
gonna
Like
take,
Brian's parents watch Fox News all day long. Doesn't matter who the fuck is on. Like Tucker's
Yeah,
probably
that's
their
true.
favorite,
right?
but they're watching
But
Fox News all day.
Laura Ingraham, they
do have
love Laura.
reputable programming. It's just
when
he's just
Laura
like
Ingraham.
would push more of an opinion as opposed to a fact, and I find that like it's you're misinforming people, and that's not cool.
this is not going to hurt Tucker at all. This is
Oh, not
this
at
is
all.
He'll have a
nothing.
new,
I
he'll have a
agree.
new
This is
show
nothing-
tomorrow.
Want to benefit for him. Newsmax is chomping at the bit.
Mhm.
Newsmax is losing their fucking mind. And if he goes to Newsmax,
Free agent.
Newsmax is gonna boom. Newsmax is gonna become the new Fox News all day, every day. I fully believe that he's gonna join Ben Shapiro's network, which, God, what is that one called again?
I feel like
what is that
Ben
called? I
Shapiro
can't
would
remember
not
the
be
name.
supportive of him.
No, Ben Shapiro will totally take him in because
I
he's
do
been
like
taking
Rachel's
all of those
take.
people in.
Lemon and Carlson team up. We'll call him Lemon Carlson, and they can have
Daily Wire.
Good cop, bad cop.
That's what I'm picking up. So this is my theory. Okay, this is where I'm going to go. Just hear me out here. Ben Shapiro has been building this Daily Wire network for a very, very long time. He's got a lot of very high profile right wing faces underneath Daily Wire at this exact point in time. The chick from Star Wars, when she got fired from Star Wars from Mandalorian.
Gina Carano?
Gina, yeah.
Yep. She's at Daily Wire. She's making movies for them. She's making all those crazy right-wing, super right-wing movies for Daily Wire. Daily Wire's making movies. They're making TV shows. They're making all kinds of crazy news and podcasts. And they got Shapiro and they got all this kind of stuff. They're building a right-wing empire right now that people should be scared of. Because the misinformation that's coming out of the Daily Wire is the scariest misinformation of anything. And as a transgender person, I follow Daily Wire because I'm scared of the information that's coming out of it. And Matt Walsh is part of that shit, all that kind of shit. And Matt Walsh is the scariest motherfucker out there. And Carlson is right up there with Matt Walsh. These two are right on the fucking same level. And these are people that you should need to be scared of. Without Fox behind Carlson has the freedom to be as unhinged as Walsh. If he becomes as unhinged as Walsh and he goes to a network that allows him to keep spewing the crazy rhetoric that he's already been spewing on Fox, and he takes that fan base from Fox with him, because he's going to. They're all just going to follow him wherever the fuck he goes.
Wherever he goes, they're going to go. Yeah, for sure.
He's just going to help build an even larger right-wing profile with whatever fucking network he goes to. Well, like I said, whether it's Daily Wire, whether it's fucking Newsmax, whether he creates his own thing. But he's not going to create his own thing. Because he's going to take something that already pre-exists and empower it. And it's going to grow and grow and grow because that pre-existing base is already there. He doesn't need to build his own thing. He just needs to take something that already exists and just pump it up. Because that's how Carlson works. He's not a very smart person, but he's a face, and he's a powerful enough face that he can take those people, and those people will listen to him because he's really good at getting people to listen to him for some reason. I don't know why, because anything he says sounds stupider
people
than hell.
love him.
And when he talks,
I mean,
he sounds like a
I
fucking
get what
idiot.
you're saying. He's going to take people with him, but I'm going to again use Brian's parents as an example. I don't think Marlene and Dean can find him anywhere else, so they're just going to keep watching Fox News, and whoever else shows up, they're just going to watch that show instead.
But there's
a lot of people like that.
You're not wrong, and that's half of them. Half of them are going to be like what you said. The other half are going to go wherever he goes. And
there are people who will follow him for sure.
The people who were tuned into Fox, those crazy people who were specifically there for that stuff, they're all going to leave, and Fox is going to become kind of middle ground. They're not going to be as crazy right wing as they were because they don't have that ability.
Remember that?
Fair
and Balance?
Yeah. Well, they might actually. they might actually get there at this point, because like they are not going to be able to maintain that when they've gotten rid of so much of that, because so much of that base is not
going to... The problem with news is that nothing is fair and balanced anymore. It's
Right.
it's either skewed right, skewed left. It doesn't fucking matter. There is no fair and balanced.
PBS.
Like, if we could just get back to people reporting the fucking news, it would be very helpful to society, and it would stop the severe division that is like fueling fires right now in our fucking country. Like, I just think if people knew actually what was going on, and people were willing to report actually what was going on, that it wouldn't be this bad.
It's really frustrating. Like, with what you say, like, for me to get my news proper, I have to go to the first source, then the second source. Then
right. I just Google shit and read.
I kind of have to go back and forth.
Like
you said, like, you have to go off of both of those, and then you have to see who has the same information, and then kind of pull through those. Like I just said, PBS. PBS has wonderful, like, basic information. I think PBS has the best raw news. If you're looking for the most non-biased news, PBS. But outside of PBS, like, most of, like,
there's always going to be an opinion.
And it's
There's
weird to tell people, like,
it's
weird to tell people to watch PBS, but like my buddy taught me about it years ago. He's like, if you really want non-biased news, watch PBS. And I was like, really? And I started watching like Frontline on PBS, and I was like, this is great. Like, it's really genuinely the best source I've gone to. I mean, like you said, it's almost impossible to kind of whatever. You still have to, like, if you really want, like,
no unbiased news, really.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's
you
like
have to research your shit on your own. You have to Google.
Right.
Okay, this happened. Let me see this. And read 10 fucking articles to be like, okay, what is the truth? And it's really annoying.
Yeah, you always have to, because there's always going to be opinion-based stuff out there. Everyone's having their opinion in news. It's just what it is these days. Hence why these networks are trying to change it. They're trying to make it more middle ground. They're trying to get bigger audiences that way. They're trying to get rid of these old, like, generic kind of, like, facade, like, opinions people have of these networks. And I don't know, for me, Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, it's probably good they're leaving these networks. They will find homes someplace else. We know they will. I still like the idea, like Rachel's saying, and GR, throw them in a ring, see what happens, and maybe make their own network. Who knows, together. But they will find a home somewhere, everybody. That's just what happens. It's big breaking news, though, today, everybody. It's big breaking news, and we're going way over.
Ever.
Yeah,
Rachel's
we're going way
though.
over, though.
Just real quick, though. Rachel's 100% correct. We need another Walter Cronkite. He was the greatest reporter in American history, and we need another non-biased reporter like him to come back in. He is still the greatest reporter to ever live.
I mean, one day, hopefully, someone comes along
that will allow that. Like, the network skews the news too. It's like, who's involved? It's such a pyramid of go fuck yourself. It's too hard.
Yep. That's why this is so shocking that they're firing people that have been like figureheads like this for so long. But the right way.
But I will say,
that's right. We're all wrong. Unless we agree with GR, then we're right.